Hello again and welcome to Rapid Customers. This is Abraham, and in this video we're going to talk about Facebook marketing, Facebook advertising. So once the fan page is all set up with your custom cover photo, profile picture, and your 3 landing pages, the next best thing to do is drive fans to these landing pages. Now, just like we talked about on a previous video, on the landing page or sales page, we highly recommend having some sort of video about your business. Testimonials are always a plus, and an opt-in form to start building your database and collect leads right on Facebook. So to drive customers here, we will need to go viral on Facebook. Now, there are a couple of steps on how to do that. Step number 1 is create a picture post. Now, we talk about picture posts because over 90% of people interact with picture posts. Now, on this post, we recommend when you text, when you put the writing inside the post, you want to keep it short and sweet and build curiosity. For example, 3 simple tricks to convert your fans into buying customers. Click here. Now, this picture, you can find it on Google. You could just, depending on your business, for us, we just typed in fans, and this picture really jumped out at me, so I put that on post as well. So you create the post, and you have that set in stone, right? And the reason why we got so many hits on this post, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a second, but on this link, if you notice that this link is way different than this page, because when people click on that link, they come here. Well, what we did, we used a system called Bitly, because I didn't want to put facebook.com/business name, letters, and numbers. We used Bitly to shorten up the link. And the great thing about Bitly, for 2 reasons, you can always customize and name the link. And the best thing, it helps keep track of the amount of people clicking on the link. And this is awesome because I want to see if this ad is actually working. So once you have that set in stone, the next thing you want to do is you want to advertise this post. Now, instead of clicking on boost post, I recommend going to facebook.com/advertising and then click on that green button. On my end, it's saying manage your ads because I have tons of pages that I manage. But on your end, it will say create an ad. So once you click on that, it's going to bring you to this page here. So I'm just going to show you exactly what we did. And once you highlight the page, it's going to ask you, what would you like to do? And of course, promote page post, because we're trying to get more people to click on that link and then see the video and opt in. That's the agenda. So we're going to click on here. It's going to scroll down just a little bit so you can see. Okay, and then choose the page post. So we're going to go to the one that I'm talking about here. And that's how it looks on the right column. So on your desktop, you will see an ad like this and people would click. So scrolling down just a little bit so you can kind of see sponsored stories. Now keep in mind, if you notice these buttons you can remove, I highly recommend just keeping them the way it is, because you want your ad to show up on the right hand column, and you also want your ad to show up on the sponsored story on the news feed. Now, if you look on the right here, sponsored, after this video, you're going to start to realize that on your news feed, you're going to start to see a sponsored ad. Is because companies are paying Facebook to put the posts on the news feed. Now, you'll see like a bunch of likes, bunch of comments, and bunch of shares because it shows up on the top of everyone's news feed. So that's really, really good to have. And the great thing about sponsored story is every time someone likes, comments, and shares, like my friends, it will give me an example. For example, this is Jan Smith likes the photo, so it shows up on my news feed, so I start to get curious myself. And again, we're only attracting a certain amount of people that I want to actually go into right now. You want to target who's actually seeing your ad. Now, I like to do local ads first, and then you could always go back and do international or global, but I want to focus in on my town. So I'm going to type in the city that I live in, the next city over, and the one over that. Right now, I can go on and on and on and zero target on certain cities, but I just want to really dominate this little area here. So I just click on include cities within 10 miles. Now keep focus on this number here, right? I'm going to scroll down, and age. You can control to see the age bracket. I don't like to start with default. I want to start with 25. and I'm going to keep gender the way it is. So scrolling down, you could always go back depending on your business. If you just want to target women or men, you have that option to do so. And then on here, you can get more specific. You can type in people who like certain things and type it in here. But keep in mind, the more specific you get, see, for example, event planning, you notice that this number changes drastically here. So we like to just keep everything, just casting a big net first and seeing who we can get, and then eventually start narrowing down and coming back to it and get more specific. But you can actually play around with these features if you choose to. But again, for the first campaign, because you want to do a couple of campaigns, you want to do a campaign versus default, you want to do a campaign and get more specific, or if you want to go back and change the text, we highly recommend using about 3 to 4 test ads and then focus in on the one that's working the best. So you could always come back and do that as well. So connection, this is where it gets really, really tricky, because do you want anyone to see this ad, or you have a choice to, have people only connected to the page or people not connected to the page. So we're going to click on that. Again, if you want to come back and just create an ad for just your fans, you could always create one and click on this feature here. And you can get zero target on if you're managing other pages. You can always go back and click here. But if you notice, as soon as I click on there, this focus on this number now is down to 28,000 accounts. So we're going to uncheck that and keep it at 144,000 accounts who live in this area within the age bracket and that's not connected to the page. And you could always zero in, but again, I like to keep it broad just to kind of test it first. So okay, moving on to the campaign pricing and schedule. Number one, I want to name this here campaign 1, and then campaign budget. You have 2 options, per day or lifetime budget. If you're going to do per day, the most effective one that works for us is this number here, $75 a day. And the campaign scheduling, you could run it continuously starting today, or I highly recommend setting a start and end date. Now this is the cool thing. We've been testing a lot of ads, and what works for most of my clients is basically the more money you spend per day in a short amount of time, your ad will show up everywhere, guaranteed. So we recommend like a 5-day run, a 10-day run, to even a 14-day run if you really want those numbers to fly. So that's very, very important to know. Okay. And just scrolling down now, how would you be charged, right? So here comes the optimization prices. Right now it's set at standard, which I don't like. So I like to get charged every time someone clicks on my ad. Now you have a choice, automatically optimize my budget or manually. So I like to click on manually just to see what the numbers are like. So we want to keep it about 65. Let's jump it. Again, we're just bidding. So once it gets approved, sometimes it even goes down, which is awesome. So right now, 75 cents a click for $75 a day. That's really, really good. Okay. And keep in mind, you can review your ad and you can place it. Now, as soon as you place it, it's going to take about, an hour, depending on the day, like a business day, an hour to 6 hours to approve it, because Facebook people have to actually go in and to see if it's clean, if you're not using unauthorized logos, if you're, too much text on the photo, they could always flag you for that. So since we already have the guidelines set in stone, we could just put a post of just the photo itself and then have a link. They approve that every single time. So I know some light bulbs are going on right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or shoot us an email. And I want to thank you so much for watching.